Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting. Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. An affiliate of Direct Impact Broadcasting and Creative Broadcasting, presenting the EmPower Hour with Jaresha, a show that shares the stories behind the journeys of leaders, influencers, and motivators. The EmPower Hour with Jaresha begins now.
Welcome to EmPower Hour with Jaresha. I am your host, Jaresha Moore. A little bit about myself. I am a best-selling author with over 18 years of combined experience in education, finance, healthcare, business management, and development, owner and founder of EmPower on Purpose, LLC, where we provide leadership training and personal professional coaching and consulting services, certified coach, speaker, and trainer with the John Maxwell team, and owner of Envision Broadcasting radio station. So we are starting 2020 with passion and purpose. Last year was absolutely amazing and full of opportunities. I launched a new book called Leadership Pivots, Powerful Strategies Every Leader Needs to Know in Order to Win, and you can purchase your autographed copy from me today. So Leadership Pivots is a collection of stories of industry trailblazers who share profound leadership tactics that will help you elevate your career and enhance your personal life. In my chapter called Empowering Your Inner Leader, you will learn how to empower yourself as a leader and how to use what I refer to as SOAR now, which is an acronym. That stands for Empower Strength, Create Opportunities, Innovate Aspiration, Achieve Results, Next Move, Ongoing Actions, and Win on Purpose to level up as a leader. You can visit www.empoweronpurpose.com or text EmPower to 474747 to find out more details on how to purchase your autographed copy today. I also want to share with you a networking vision and goal event happening on Sunday, January 26th at 6 p.m. This is a virtual networking event, and we are fired up and ready to go get them with this event. This is an opportunity to connect and collaborate and level up on your vision and goals. For details, text EmPower to 474747 or visit the EmPower on Purpose Eventbrite page to learn more information about how you can register. So today's empowerment quote is define success on your own terms. Achieve it by your own rules and build a life you're proud to live. By Annie Sweeney. So I truly feel like after saying this quote, we can just drop the mic and just go on. How many of us are looking at other people's success and trying to define success by comparing ourselves to others? How many of us are trying to live by everyone else's rules instead of our own? How many of us are truly happy with the life that we are living? It is 2020, y'all, a new decade, and we have to stop looking around at other people when it comes to doing, and having what we want in our life. You know who you are, and you know where you are right now. Some of us need to rediscover who we are so we can figure out where we want to go and what success truly looks like for us. I am very much a bottom line person, and in fact, I will tell you that it can be so simple, but yet we make things way too difficult. It all starts with you. You have to define your success by your terms. You have to achieve it by your rules. And in order to build a life that you are proud to live, you have to be in control of that. Most of us know this, but yet we still make excuses and point the fingers at everyone else but the person in the mirror. I challenge you today to put some time on your calendar to define what success looks like to you. This doesn't mean, I should say, just taking that time out to say, okay, I'm going to put this on my calendar and just think about it. No, this means pulling out that handy-dandy notebook and thinking on paper to define what success truly looks like for your life. Gain the clarity and then start making actionable items that you can do every day so you can achieve it and have the life that you want. So without further delay, today my guest is Angelita Thomas. What many would consider nature of being. Angelita Thomas, known as Angelita the coach, used her gift and turned it into purpose. From her personal experience, along with knowing firsthand what it's like to be an entrepreneur due to her family history, she has made it her life's purpose to assist others with doing the same. Through a supportive, structured process, she not only positions clients to a fruitful life, but she teaches them how to step out of their comfort zone, network, and become successful entrepreneurs. Angelita loves to connect with others, attending Macomb community college, that is, for business management and entrepreneurship and small business, has led her to be confident and diligent with her passion. In addition, she also has over 16 years of experience in healthcare and a leadership position. Over the years, she has hosted radio and is currently hosting her very own podcast, Real Talk with Angelita, and Discovered, Are You Ready to Network Group, and the Coaching Circle Coaching Group to support others up and coming, emerging and established entrepreneurs. Angelita started her first business in 2005. After this, she quickly realized that being a business owner was the way to go. Being a people person, she was on her way to sharing her craft with many. Over the years of networking, she understands the importance of great connections and meaningful relationships. This prompted her to become a published author. Are You Ready to Network? Today, Angelita is a business coach and strategist, speaker, author, and media personality. She specializes in building leaders, coaching them to become fearless and level up in business. Angelita is also the CEO of Key Virtual Professionals and Virtual Solutions Agency. Welcome, Angelita Thomas. You are absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to have you on the show today. How are you?
Thank you so much. I am doing well. I'm like, oh my goodness, who is she talking about? Is that really me?
Absolutely. So I just share some amazing things, from your bio. Please tell the listeners just a little bit more about your background.
Well, I'm a mom of 4 and a grandmother of 1. I'm a people person. I love to just have fun and live life and, not take things for granted. And then, of course, you just heard all of the business stuff that I do. But I definitely like to take time for myself and relax and have fun and, just enjoy the things.
Absolutely. I think that's the only way to go. I think we get so caught up in the day-to-day, the hustle and bustle and the busyness every day that we just forget to have fun. So I absolutely love that. So I love that you teach your clients how to live a fruitful life. Tell us more about how you, some of the things that you do with that.
So a lot of the times, I'll say this for sure. We're definitely we're hard on ourselves. We're our worst critic. We will pick ourselves apart to the point of, we think that we're not good enough to do the things that we want to do. So with that being said, I coach my clients to say, hey, let's get you out of that. Let's turn what you feel is a negative, let's turn that into a positive. And let me show you how. So, there's a structure of, I ask a lot of questions. And the end result is I don't give them the answer. They give themselves the answer. I just ask different questions for them to realize you have the answer. The answer is within you. I'm just going to pull it out.
Yes.
And so they have then they start to have their aha moments. For example, I had one client, she thought her age was an issue. And we turned it around to where it's like, hey, you're looking at your age as negative. Your age is so positive. Look at all what you've accomplished within your life, and look how old you are. So the main thing with that was she was in fitness, but she was in her 50s. And to see her, you would think she was in her 30s. But of course, that's people on the outside looking in, and I had to open up her eyes so that she could see that she was just as good, if not better. And now she's out here doing her thing.
Yes, I love it. I think it's so important, from a coach standpoint, because as you mentioned, when we have those conversations with those clients, they already have that greatness inside of them. All we're doing is going to pull that out of them and allow them to see, yes, I was great. I have all this greatness in me, no matter what age you are, everyone has a purpose, so I think that's, that's absolutely amazing. So, I also love how you teach your clients the importance of networking. We both know how important it is, to network. Why do you find networking such an important part of business, if you can share that with the listeners?
For me, networking is just fun. It's fun. So for me, it's fun. And you learn so much about yourself while you're networking, and you learn so much about people just as a whole. And so, when you think of networking, people are like, oh, I don't, it's kind of like some people think maybe it's a drag because, I have to go pass out my business cards and I have to go do this and I have to go do that. And that is so not what networking is about. Networking is about meeting people, establishing a connection, and that connection possibly going into a relationship. And, there's a level of trust that you start to get with each other. So some of your connections that you make with networking, some of those people, and let's be honest, everybody that you meet, they're not going to be within your circle. It's just how it is. But some of these people that you network and meet could potentially become friends later on down the line. I tell people, nurture your network. It's just like your friends and your family. You nurture them, right? You nurture your family, you nurture your friends. Same thing with your network. It's a relationship. You're starting a relationship, and you build and you build and you build. And over time, these relationships can manifest into endless possibilities. It could help you partnership, collaborate with different business owners, advance your business, just by being your authentic self. With me networking, it landed me. I was able to be a co-host on a radio show for almost 2 years. I also became a board member of a nonprofit organization, actually 2 different nonprofit organizations, based on just genuine, authentic networking. So it's important because you never know where these connections can take you in life, where it can take you personally, and where it can take your business. You're going to level up. Absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. And, I have to, really piggyback on that because, and we were having this conversation, earlier too, networking, it opens up so many doors. It really shocks me on how many people don't get out and network. At the end of the day, I'm like, wow, it's really, as you mentioned, it's about connecting. It's about building those relationships. Because you literally don't know, when you walk in a room, whether it's a networking event or, whatever it may be, just being able to connect with someone at whatever kind of event. When you walk in that event, you never know who you're sitting next to. You never know if, they may have be connected to someone that could, open a door for a job for you, open up a door for, some kind of opportunity. Like you mentioned, being able to be a co-host on a radio show. So it's so important for people to, not just push business cards around, but, connect, schedule time after when you meet someone, whether it's a virtual, like coffee, if you will, or if you can actually connect with them and meet with them. It's so important. I truly wish that the listeners and people would understand just how much it is so important to connect with people, whether you're introverted, extroverted, it's just important to connect. So yeah, that's awesome. So you did also mention, that the fact that you, of course, have hosted radio, and of course you have your own podcast as well. Tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to really start that podcast and what it's truly focused on.
So when I was the co-host on an actual radio station, it's just growth. Let me just fast forward. It's growth. At different stages in our lives, there comes a point where we have to level up, and I use that often, like it's actually on my license plate, level up. But there comes a point. It's on a shirt, but there comes a point where you have to. Okay, you can't stay stuck. You have to move on to the next level. It's called growth. And at the same time, I say that my time on radio, that was my training. That was the whole 2 years, almost 2 years that I did radio. That was my training. I watched. I paid attention. The gentleman who had the show, he had been doing radio for quite some time. So I learned so much from him. And so it got to a point where we were doing it. It wasn't interesting to me anymore. It wasn't fun. It no longer had value to me. So at that point, it was time for me to stop, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to focus on some other things. So before I got my podcast, I actually started a podcast with two other coaches. And that's kind of like where it started for me, to where, I had this podcast with these two ladies, but then I'm thinking like, maybe I could do my own podcast. Let me see. So, I took some time and I thought about it, because, again, when you're doing a show or with someone, sometimes that there could be creative differences. Let's just say that. And so your vision may not be someone else's vision. So, again, it's growth. Now you have to go out and you have to decide, okay, does this make sense? Should I do this? And sometimes, you don't even know what's going to happen, but you just got to just do it anyways. You just got to jump in the water anyways and see where it takes you. Right. Okay. So that's what I did. I jumped in the water. I was nervous. I was scared. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I am going to start my own podcast. So I have had my own podcast. It will be in March. It'll be 1 year. Okay. And I would probably say that it's one of the best decisions that I made. It also allows me to have different entrepreneurs come on and talk about their business, and giving them that platform where they can discuss business, and they can ask questions, and just, giving them that avenue of exposure, so I enjoy it. I got the gift of gab. Let me tell you, I can talk. So that was one of the other reasons I'm like, I can get on my podcast and I can just talk for a whole hour if I wanted to, and nobody can tell me to be quiet because it's my show, I got an hour to talk. Okay. And then I had the pleasure of, I have a co-host now. So, he brings a different element to the show. So we talk about business, we talk about entertainment and lifestyle. So that's what the podcast is geared on. And it's just fun. It's fun. At the same time, when I have guests that come in, that you can see like they're nervous because they've never done any type of radio. And I look at them and I'm like, relax. we're not that type of show. I'm like, we're not stuffy in here. Just relax, be yourself. I'm like, we have fun. You know, we laugh, we joke. We even bring the engineer on the show sometimes, you know, and make him talk.
Yes.
So it's one of those really just laid back shows, but you're going to have fun and you're going to laugh. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yes, that is so good. It is all about, you know, laughing, and yeah, that's awesome. I absolutely love that. You know, my story is kind of similar with, you know, you just kind of jumping in as well. You know, just you have to do it afraid. You know, if not, then you're never going to do it. You know, you'll always be like, oh, I you know, I should have started, you know, a podcast, you know, but you'll always be talking about, you know, I should have, would have, could have, you know.
Exactly.
You just have to jump in, you know. You have to just do it afraid. And then when you realize after you've done it, it's like, oh, it's really not that bad. Because I remember my first show, I was so scared and nervous. But then I was like, ooh, it literally gave me energy.
Right.
You know?
Right. You're like, ooh, I like this. It's like, ooh, I can do a lot of things with this. Absolutely. That's how I feel. I'm like, ooh, like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's great. It's such an awesome experience. Absolutely. So you have also, you know, of course, in leadership roles prior to business. And what exactly did you do in those leadership roles, and how do you feel like those roles prepared you for where you are today?
Ooh, well, I worked in healthcare. I'll say that, a leadership role in healthcare. And let me tell you, being in leadership is definitely not for the weak. It's not for the weak. So I had a crew. I managed about 32 people. So with that being said, that's 32 different personalities. It's 32 different personalities. It's every issue, anything that could go wrong, I had to deal with it, you know. But one of the things that, and I loved the leadership role. I loved it. You know, it taught me a lot, just growth as a person, being in leadership. Because one of the things, for me that I learned is I would never ask my staff to do anything that I wouldn't do. There's a difference between a boss and a leader. And I would like to say that I was a leader because I would get down there and I would be doing the work with y'all, you know. So there wasn't anything that I would ask them to do that I wouldn't do. So within leadership, like I said, there's a lot of different personalities that you deal with. And it really taught me how to connect with people on a professional level, if that makes sense. Because, you know, when I first got into my leadership role, I'll just put it like this. I was a little rough behind the edges. I was a little rough behind the edges, okay? So there, you know, I had to be trained. I had to be molded. And what that did was prepare me for the world of entrepreneurship. It prepared me how to talk to people, how to give people, it taught me what customer service was, because not only did I have a staff that I also had to work with, but I also had patients, family that I also had to work with. So, and then some of, you know, you have some family members that don't understand what's going on. So you get all type of reactions. Some people, you know, they want to yell and they want to scream at you. They're not mad at you. They're mad at the situation that's going on with their loved one. And you have to understand that. And you have to know when they're yelling at you, you can't yell back at them. You know what I'm saying? They're in a state that They think you don't understand, but you definitely understand it because you live it every day. You're here, you know. So I think it definitely taught me how to deal with people, customer service, how to have empathy, how to be compassionate when the time when it's needed. It also taught me how to, it's okay. Constructive criticism is okay. Don't be offended. Don't be offended. Constructive criticism is okay, because what that does is, if you listen, it's just another level where it's growth. It's going to help you grow, you know. So I loved it. I loved it I love leadership for what it has made me today, how I'm able to connect with people, network with people, talk to people, pull things out of people that they don't know that they have within them, you know. So it was definitely, it was training. You know, I feel like that was part of my training to get me to where I am right now.
That's good. That's good. It's so important. Again, you know, it's that you know, connecting word. It's so important, you know, for leaders. As you mentioned, you know, you truly feel like that, you know, there's a difference between that being a leader and being a manager. And, you know, leadership at the end of the day is truly about influence. And you want those who work for you to, you know, feel influenced by you being such a great leader. And I really, truly, you know, from being, of course, in the healthcare world and all that as well, and no matter, you know, what organization, I think that there's true value in leaders investing in growth for themselves, and what that looks like as far as like professional development, personal development. There is so much value in investing in that as a leader, no matter where you are as a leader, whether you're a new leader or you've been a leader for years. You just have to continue to grow. And in growing, you're helping not just yourself, but your team. So yeah, that's truly amazing. So I definitely love that you have specialized in building, you know, leaders, coaching them to become fearless and leveling up in business. What are some methods that you can share that you may have used to make this effective for those leaders to be able to level up? I think there's a couple different exercises that I use, but for the most part, I ask questions. I do my coaching on a board so that they can see for themselves, okay? The things that they say and how they kind of contradict each other, and some of the things that it won't make sense, and it allows them to think, because sometimes the issue, or I don't want to say the issue, sometimes what has stopped you in your tracks is we got to dig deeper. We got to go back, because sometimes even within in your personal life, it can hinder your business. I think I should say it like that. Sometimes your personal can hinder your business. So I dig deep with a lot of questions that I ask to kind of bring out the answer. So it's really just my method really is just asking questions. There's certain questions that I ask, and from your answers, you know, I may ask another question, and we kind of just dig. I keep digging, and I'm a digger. I will keep digging and digging until we get to the root of it. That's right.
All right. You might not like me in some cases after the fact, but I guarantee you when we're done with the sessions, you're thinking differently. And you got to do the work. You're thinking differently, and if you do the work, you've leveled up to the next level. And one of the things that I say, you know, I coach you to become fearless and level up. You know, I say, I coach you to be fearless to the extent and to the point where, okay, I'm still a little nervous about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I had one lady, and I say this now all the time. I remember for me, I had a fear of flying. And she used to say, just do it. Do it scared. Do it scared. So I tell my clients now, just do it scared. What is the worst thing that can happen?
That's good. That is so good.
What's the worst thing that can happen? You're going to enjoy what you just did, and you're going to be mad at yourself because you didn't do it like 2 years ago. You're going to be like, oh, my God, this was it. This is the only thing that happened. Like, I'm so mad that I didn't do this earlier, you know? So it's really a lot of, come on, you got to believe in yourself. You have to put trust in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, how are you going to expect other people to believe in you? Nobody's going to want to do business with you if you don't believe in yourself.
That's right. Yes. And we have to stretch ourselves. And that goes back to you saying doing it afraid as well. It's interesting that you mentioned, the fear of flying, because I very much had a fear of flying as well. And
oh my goodness.
You know what? I was like, yes, that was me. I would get on a plane and I was like, okay, I don't want to sit next to the window. I don't even want to look out the window. I'm like tensing up, hands on, on the seat, palms sweaty and everything else. And then I got to a point, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to stretch myself. The next time I fly, I'm going to sit next to the window. I'm going to, lift up the little window thing and look out the window, because I truly need to overcome this. And then it was like, oh, this is not that bad. So, yes, we have to.
It's not. I'm so mad at myself that it took me till I turned 40 to start flying. I'm only 41, Jaresha. Like, I just started flying. And look, it's so funny now, because when I don't want to get off track here, but it's funny now. I'm like, okay, I want the window seat. I be like a big old kid when we be going down the runway. That's my favorite part, the runway. I love it. I be like a big old kid cheesing, and I be looking around because I don't want nobody to see me like so excited like a kid. I still want to remain a grown up and professional, when I'm on the plane. But girl, the inside of me just be giggling when we be going down that runway. I love it.
You had to push yourself. If you hadn't pushed yourself, you could have still been dealing and living with that fear. So, yes,
absolutely.
That is so good. So good.
Absolutely. Yes. That is funny. I'm not the only one, huh?
No. No, not at all. And I can imagine there's probably several out there listening. It's like, oh, my gosh, yes, I have this.
Do it scared, y'all. Do it scared. If you're listening and you're scared of flying, I'm telling you, do it. I would tell you this, whatever you are fearful of and that's like stopping you from doing because you're like, oh, I'm scared, just do it. Trust me, do it.
Yes.
You're going to be mad at yourself after you do it, because you're going to be like, I waited this long to just do it.
That's right. That's right. So you say once you started your own business in 2005, of course, you realized that being a business owner is definitely the way to go. What truly made you realize that? If you can talk a little bit, about that and, why.
So, again, I'm going to be honest. Then when I started my business, I'm going to be honest, I don't like people to tell me what to do. No, that sounds crazy, right? Here's the thing. No. Even as a business owner, people are still going to tell you what to do.
That's right.
But the thing of it is I can be a business owner, but I can do what I want to do. I can structure things how I want to do it. And I was just like, okay, I think I could do this. I think I could be my own business owner. I think I can really do this. But again, 2005, I did not have the energy that I have now. It was there, but I had to be pushed. So my 2005 business, I worked it like a hobby for a long time before I actually got into the realm of, okay, this is business. Let's do this. But the thing of it was like, okay, it's a little bit of it's a little bit of freedom to kind of do what I want to do, how I want to do it. Of course, like everything, it needs to be, things need to be structured and different things like that. But it made me feel good because like I had a say in what it was that I was doing. I come from my family. I come from entrepreneurs. My grandfather was a carpenter. My aunt owns a successful floral shop for over 20 years. So like to me, it was fun. It was fun. I watched them, I watched my grandfather as a contractor go into, or as a carpenter, go into houses and, do work. And, he said, you're going to pay me X amount of dollars. And they'd be like, okay. And I'd be like, dang, you could just set your own prices like that? They pay you? That was exciting. And then, like people, just the relationships that they had with people, there was trust, they built their relationships on trust, their word was their bond, and it was just like, wow, this is amazing. This, I feel like this, if I don't have to, I don't have to work for anyone. I can work for myself. If, I don't have to do what society tells me to do, which is go to school, get an education, get a good job, work this job for 50 years, retire, and then live at home in your old age until you die. That's what society teaches us. They don't really give us the know-how of, in school as far as starting businesses and, why you should be successful and start a business. So it's like, when over the years as I learned these things, I was like, oh, this is so me, I think we all have purpose. And once we find our passion, we find our purpose.
That's right. That's awesome. So what is the one thing that you wish you would have known when you started your business?
Let's see, the one thing that I wish I would have known when I started my business. I don't know. I don't know. To be honest, I really don't know what's one thing that I wish I would have known when I started. Definitely, I didn't think that it was going to be as much work, as much, like, dang, okay, you want this business, but you got to put, I think probably coming in, I didn't think that it was going to require so much time. It's like, oh, okay, you want the business, but dang, I didn't know I had to do all the work, so yes. I would probably say that starting out, I didn't know, it's not like going to a 9-to-5 or a job and, okay, you work 8 hours and, you go, you take a little lunch, you go home. No, it's not like that. So I think I didn't prepare myself for that when I started. And, some businesses flopped. They weren't really good choices. But I never gave up. I kept going. And so now I'm at that point now where I'm confident in what I'm doing. I was a event planner at one point in time. That didn't work either. I had an event planning business. That didn't work because that wasn't my call. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that we all have, we all have a call and a purpose. And, again, what happened was event planner, I seen someone else being an event planner. And I was like, I can do that too. I can do what they doing. And that wasn't for me. So therefore it didn't work out. So now, I'm at a point where, okay, I'm just doing me. I'm not worried about what, Susie Q over here doing and, Missy over here doing. I'm just going to give you me. I'm going to give y'all, authentic Angelita. And my goal is to see the greatness in you. And I'm going to pull it out, and you're going to see, like, dang, I'm kind of dope. That's what I do. Yeah, I want you to turn around and be like, dang, I'm kind of dope. Yeah, I want people to see how dope they are, So, and I love it. I love when, I get emails that say, Angelita, thank you so much for this, or thank you for that. Or, I get a recommend or positive feedback, on my Facebook page. Like, stuff like that. People, y'all can call me what y'all can call me a geek, y'all can call me whatever. But stuff like that, girl, I would be cheesing from ear to ear, okay? I love stuff like that. I love when I have helped someone do something amazing in their business. And they're like, dang, Angelina, I didn't think about it like that. Thank you. The thank yous, I love it. I love it. I love it. I want you to get to the next stage of your business. I want people to be successful. That's it. No competition, no look at you. Why are you trying to do what I do? Girl, let me help you do what I do.
That's right.
What you want to know?
Right.
What you want to know? Let me help you. So never, I think, so much we don't work I think we need to work together more, and we don't. So we miss out on a lot of things because we don't want to work with other people. Like I've learned so much working with different people and different collaborations. I'm just like, dang, okay, that's amazing. So
Yes, that's awesome. So what would you say has been your biggest challenge to date?
I don't really look at anything as a challenge anymore. I just look at it as I'm just going to enjoy the journey. It's the process. I don't really look at anything as a challenge. I roll with the flow, to be honest. I look at, where I look at where my business was a year ago to where it is now. It's not really a challenge. It's like, dang, I've accomplished so much in a year. So yeah, I just roll. Whatever's thrown my way, I just roll with it. Because here's the thing. I'm not going to stop being an entrepreneur. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. I don't care what curveball or what is thrown at me. Like, I'm not going to stop. So it doesn't matter what happened. I'm still going to continue to do this. I'm still going to continue to write books. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to do speaking engagements. I'm still going to do workshop conferences. So it doesn't matter. So that's why I don't really see any struggles or any challenges. I go with the flow.
That's right. That's good. So you just mentioned, as far as, of course, just continuing to write books. So of course you are also a published author. Tell us a little bit more about what you've written and what truly inspired you.
Okay, so I wrote a book called Are You Ready to Network? It is an ebook. You can find it on Amazon. Are You Ready to Network by Angelina Thomas. You see how I threw that up there? Okay. So you can, it's an ebook. It's about a 30-minute read. But what I did is I took my networking experiences and I put it in an ebook. I because what it is some people are like, oh, you're so good at networking. Like I've even, you're a master networker. And I'm like, where are you guys coming up with all these like phrases, master networker, networking guru? I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I'm like, I just talk to people. Just open my mouth and talk. So, but people are like, I can't do what you do. How do you do it? So what I did is I took my experience and I put it in an ebook. So I talk about the very first time that I went to a networking event. I walked in, I looked, and I turned around and I walked out because I was like, oh, that's overwhelming. Like, no, I can't do that. So, and I started with that because I wanted people to know at one point I was exactly where you are. Now I was that person, but hey, here's what I did to get past that. So I give some tips on how to network, how to attend these events. I also give tips on networking. You don't have to just go to a networking event to network. You can network anywhere. You can be in a CVS, Walgreens, and you can honestly make a great connection in a store. You just never know. So I go through all of that and I talk about that. And then I talk about, the people that I have met networking, and where, because I've networked, it allowed me once again to be, a co-host on a radio show. It allowed me to connect with people and be on nonprofit organizations. It's allowed me to connect with people pretty much all over the U.S., just with networking. Networking is not, sometimes networking isn't face-to-face. Networking is also social media. We live in a social media world. So networking is definitely that. I've connected with people who I've never met in person, but we're friends. I have a friend we've been friends for almost 9 years, and I've met her one time. So I talk about those things in the book. And then at the end of the book, there are, I believe, 7 coaching questions. So after you've read the book, you ask yourself these questions. And then after that, there is a challenge. I give you a 30-day challenge, and the 30-day challenge helps you to develop your network, okay? Because everybody has a network, whether they know it or not, but you have a network. But if you're in business, you have a network. Even if you're not in business, you have a network. But it helps you to start a network. But then it also helps you nurture your network. I give you steps to nurture the network that you already have and nurture your potential network. And again, like I said earlier, nurturing your network is just like you would do your family and friends. You got to nurture your family. You got to nurture your friends. You also got to nurture your network. Okay. So the challenge, it helps you do all of that. It helps you establish a network. It helps you nurture the network. So yes, I definitely recommend it, especially for someone who's like, I'm not feeling this whole networking thing. I definitely recommend it. And even some people who do network but are kind of like, what do I do with all these business cards after a networking meeting? We talk about that in the book in there too. I tell you what to do with that. So yeah, awesome. That's definitely a good read. Absolutely, it's a good read. Really, really of course, I'm gonna tell you it's a good read. It's my book. It's a good read.
But it definitely sounds like it, because I definitely think that there is, just a need for information and for education to be out there for people that are interested in either networking or already networking and connecting. Because definitely I definitely feel like there are certain things that we should be doing when we're networking, and then certain things we shouldn't. So I definitely think that that's good for them to go out and purchase your ebook. That's awesome. So, we are definitely in a new year.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest goal for this year?
My biggest goal is to travel. That's my biggest goal, is to travel personally. There's some places now that I fly, girl, I'm trying to see everywhere. I'm definitely trying to travel and have some fun. But I'm also, I think in 2019, we should have laid the foundation to definitely level up in 2020. And so that was my goal. I built every year I have to level up. And I manifest, I manifest things that I want to do. So on top of traveling and just having fun and seeing the world, one of the things that I said that I want to do business-wise is take my speaking on the road, and travel to different places and speak at different events and conferences. And so, and I've already started. I'll be speaking at a conference actually in March in South Carolina. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, those are definitely the things that I'm doing in 2020.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So today the empowerment quote was define success on your own terms, achieve it by your own rules, and build a life you're proud to live, by Annie Sweeney. What would you say that this quote truly means to you?
live by your own standards, not by what people tell you should live by, or not how people define what you should live by. Success is what you want. Don't wait for others to build you up. Don't wait for someone to be like, oh, I'm going to be on their platform. Create your own platform. There's no room for you at the table. Build your own table. That's what it means to me.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So what is the best advice that you have ever received, and who gave it to you?
The best advice I've ever received, don't give up. Just keep going. Keep going. And I would say my grandfather, he was like my biggest supporter for everything. He was my biggest supporter. And, unfortunately he passed away a couple years ago, so he wasn't able to see like all this dopeness that I've done in, the last 2 years, but he was definitely my inspiration for it. Mm-hmm. And so when I wrote my book was dedicated to him, because it was like, oh my God, like the first published author in the family. It's a big deal. So
yes,
definitely.
Absolutely. That is a big deal. Yes.
A big deal. Yes.
That's awesome. Yes. So I know you just mentioned that you're going to, of course, you're taking this speaking on the road, and you're going to be speaking in March in South Carolina. If you could take some time now just to share with the listeners on what else is coming up on the horizon for you.
Okay. So speaking, definitely putting together my own conference is definitely coming up. And just continue to do workshops, educate entrepreneurs, those who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs. Just living authentically. That is what's on the horizon for me, and to just, share my knowledge with people. I love it. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is one piece of advice that you would give our listeners on how they can empower their own growth and success journey?
Understand that you can't do it alone. Get a mentor. I definitely encourage everyone to get a mentor or get a coach. Work with someone who can definitely get you to that next level, because sometimes we don't know it all, and we kind of just, we just go in circles in our mind. So get a mentor. You have to invest in yourself. You just have to. You have to invest in yourself. So please invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in your business. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I just want to take the time to say thank you so much for sharing your story and journey. This was absolutely amazing. Please take the time now.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. Please take some time to just share with the listeners on how they can stay connected with you and support your efforts.
Okay, so you can stay connected with me on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and I'm Angelita the Coach on both. And my website is www.coachangelita.com.
Awesome.
All my goodies are there. All my upcoming events, everything that I have going on, my podcast, all of that stuff is there. So.
Perfect. Well, again, I thank you so much. It's truly been such an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. I thank you for taking the time out of, your busy schedule just to give me the opportunity to interview you. And I just want to say that I wish you much success and blessings as you continue on your journey.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
Thank you. So listeners, thank you for tuning into tonight's show with our special guest, Angelita Thomas. Angelita shared her amazing story and journey to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. And she also shared how important it is to invest in yourself and in your business. Understand you cannot do it alone. Get a mentor or a coach or someone who you know that can help you get to the next level. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, starting your own radio show, or low-cost advertising highlighting your book, business, or events, please email envisionb@empoweronpurpose.com. Please tune in next week where you will hear an amazing story and journey from another leader, influencer, and motivator. Until next time, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the EmPower Hour with Jaresha, where Jaresha speaks with leaders, influencers, and motivators who share their journeys in personal and professional growth, empowerment tips, lessons learned, and keys of success that will empower you to be your best self. Follow Jaresha on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Jaresha Moore, and visit EmPowerOnPurpose.com. And remember to be intentional and be empowered, and have a great day on purpose.